OAC or ORC?
That is a managerial, I would say ORC.
ORC?
124.30.
Hello.
And
Hi, Joe.
Hello.
How the heck are ya?
30.20, Ohio Revised Code.
Would you like it to be documented that you're here?
This camera.
I put you on there.
I'll try to prep this.
I signed it.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. How's everyone? Corona free, I hope?
You know, it's civil service, so it's Tuesday. Only way I can keep track of my days.
Hey Lisa, obviously things changed since we last talked. I last spoke with your son.
He got an internship at a mortgage company this
Did he?
summer. Yeah,
We kind of froze.
well, yeah. I think it was getting hard because he
No,
had applications out to so many, and everybody
Well,
just
we're
kind of
streaming it on our channel, on our YouTube,
Yes.
And this
because
one
we
came
have
through
to,
and
they
he
have to
just wanted
satisfy the public, hearing
This is in
requirements.
strong.
If it settles down and he's available sometime next, maybe in a month or two, I'd still be.
They asked me, I told them I could help out.
We're not.
Well, he would definitely prefer to be something a little more operational.
Yeah, he would have been a big help.
Yeah,
He looked
but no, he'd still be open.
good, yeah, so. Chief Lorain.
How are you?
Just like the police, just.
Kyle,
What up?
how are you?
Yeah,
You're 6 feet away from me?
Am I? Or she?
I showed my husband that picture you sent me.
He's a ginger. He burns the.
I showed my husband that picture you sent me. He goes, why the hell would he send you that?
Because he's cheated out.
I go, without warning. Wasn't even in the warning. I got a picture of the dog bite.
Otherwise, we're aware or.
It was like one of those, when you watch a movie and you don't know if someone's head's gonna get
Hey,
blown
how you
off.
doing?
Like, that's what happened when I opened my tent. It was the dog bite.
Oh.
How are you?
What's that?
How are you doing?
I think I spent the last 4 hours.
4 hours went fine?
No, on the phone.
On the.
Oh, I
I'm
guess
just gonna
that's.
sit down and shut up for this meeting.
You have a headset that.
Oh, no. I have the old school version. I found it.
Yeah, okay.
All that.
That's what you.
I wish the letter would have been, wish that letter would have been, I wish the election
Chief?
had been over with way back when, so I didn't have
Did
to
you sign
go through
in,
this
sir?
again.
JD
Yeah,
never
we did.
asked or got permission.
Just making sure.
Anyhow, you should clear that up for him. I already forgot about it.
Got about
Hello.
2 minutes.
Is that his bum?
It's his arm. You heard about that, right? I'm trying to send you a text about it.
No,
I know you like car guys and say, hey, that's the cop's arm. He got bit by the dog.
oh,
Me? Him? Me?
Yeah.
Whichever Joe wants to answer.
You got 2 minutes. It just happened. It's what happened. He was out for a couple weeks. They can't stitch it.
great.
Get a lifeline.
I'm sitting over here kind of 6 feet away, even though I know gingers eat that bacteria. Heat miser, you know, watching the heat miser here.
Heat bison?
Yeah, the gingers, they eat the virus. They burn the virus in their blood. They can't get it.
She sure does that?
Would you stop, please?
Right.
She doesn't get it.
Next thing I know, Pat's
Someone
up in my
take
office
the
saying that she made fun
I
of
am.
discriminating against people with red hair. Golly.
Ready?
We're good.
I call to order the Lorain Civil Service Commission meeting, April 14th, 2020. We'll start with a roll call. Joseph Smith, present.
Victor Tack is present.
Juanita Sankey's present.
Move on to disposition of the minutes from our previous meeting.
Yes, before us are the minutes, of the regular civil service meeting held February 18th, 2020. And I will make a motion that they are signed and certified.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made by Mr. Takas, seconded by Mrs. Sunkeys to certify the minutes from our February 18th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Any correspondence received?
No, I don't believe so, Mr. President.
Correspondence sent.
Nothing under sent.
We do have some items under personnel correspondence, I believe.
Yes, we do. It looks like we've got 4 items. First item is the request for the adoption of a new job description for the position of police support specialist in the Lorain Police Department.
I believe. Do you need a letter?
Oh, you want me to read the letter?
No.
No, I'm getting the minutes back.
Gotcha, okay. So, Chief McCann, did you want to speak to this issue, or is there somebody from the administration about this?
No, I'd have the chief handle it.
And Chief, if you could go to that microphone to the other side.
You don't talk about it.
Thank you.
Make sure it's on. It's on.
I do believe it is, yes.
Okay. What this position is, right now we have 2 part-time background investigators that do employee backgrounds. And we have another position that we have not filled for a while to do with the IT specialist. So we're removing one position and combining these both into basically one new job description of the employee background investigator, the police fleet manager, which we never have had, and we have over 100 cars, and amongst it, our circus of operations for our narcotics, for patrol, for unmarked cars. We have cars we got to manage, and we're not doing a very good job managing our cars, because we depend on the road cops to do this stuff in between their duties. It's just not a good service to the community. And the other one is general administrative support, which every single time we get a case or a call for service, we have to report certain incidents to the federal government through IBR statistics. Right now, we have an OIC who should be on the road supervising, doing this job. So the intent is to combine these 3 jobs into one position and that make that a full-time position where this person can do all this stuff. And there will be time to do all this stuff because there's not always background investigations being done. When we hire, it's very labor intensive. When there's nothing going on with hiring, that job isn't there. But speaking with Lisa and with Max about this position, we are also going to be able to help the city with other critical background investigations for, like, if they need it for firefighters or anybody else, we will be able to assist them with that background investigation since they have no one to do it full time. So there's a multi-layered purpose for this thing. It can be help for citywide application for certain positions, and it'll fulfill what we need to do for our backgrounds. For every single hire, we go through 10 people in the backgrounds off the list. That's roughly probably 15 to 20 hours per person we have to go through leads documentation. We talk to neighbors, we interview the people. So it's a very labor-intensive process. And right now, part-time employees doing it, it doesn't cut it. There's shortcuts being taken. They just can't get to it. So this position will take all that and make it a very complex background, and everything else will be complex, and it's just going to be a better way to move forward. Now, this thing also needs to go to City Council. It's not been a City Council yet. So I would ask that if this can be approved with that contingent based on City Council approval. And we don't intend to hire right away with this. We're in some pretty lean times right now, but we want to get things in place so when the time comes, we can move on this and fill this position when things calm down a little bit.
So, and I believe what we're being asked to do is just to approve the job description and then you take care of going to city council for
Correct.
funding and actually
Correct.
approving the position.
Correct.
Okay, very good. And I read through it, I mean, commissioners, do you have any questions about the job description?
No,
I
no.
thought maybe it was a 3-person job at first, but it looked, yeah.
No, I appreciate the thorough explanation.
I'll make the motion to approve the adoption of the new job description for the position of police support specialist in the Lorain Police Department.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Mrs. Senke, seconded by Mr. Takas to approve the new job description for the position of police support specialist in Lorain Police Department. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next item,
Next order of business, request for change to our local civil service rules, section 7.5, regarding promotional probationary periods for the Lorain Police Department.
very good. And I believe that the request for the change is going from 90-day probationary period to 180. You're increasing it, or asking for an increase?
That's correct.
Okay. Eddie, if you want to opine on that, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, but maybe give us an explanation.
I will.
Thank you.
So a lot of things, for every rule, every law that's on the books, something happens to create these changes and these laws on the books. They don't just appear out of nowhere. So we had a recent incident with the promotion that he was a detective in the Bureau for 8 years. He made sergeant. He's a great guy, honorable guy. He's going to do a great job as a sergeant. The problem we came across, the first time that I've ever came across it, is he came from the Bureau, detective, for 8 years. We threw him on a road. So we kind of threw him in and say, you need to sink or swim. It's the wrong answer. And once we found out we did that, it's not fair to the newly promoted sergeant. It's not fair. We're not helping him be successful for us, for you, and for the people. So we need to extend the probationary period. And we need to take guys like this who were off the road for so long and put them back into a training program to learn and remember how to be a cop first. So the new plan is someone comes out of a bureau, is not on a road, they'll hit the FTO program in a modified version to learn how to be a cop again. Because some things you forget, some things you just to get out of your blood because you're gone so long. And then once they get past that 4 weeks, then we created a new training program for sergeants. We've never had one for sergeant, believe it or not. And the state patrols didn't have it. They just throw people in the cars and they ride for 2 months and they just kick them off and say, okay, go be a sergeant. And it's not the right way to do things. I have a very big background in the military, and I believe in a lot of training. Training makes the guy successful. So what we've done is the first time in this area, so we actually created a 2-month training program that the new sergeant will be with a sergeant FTO for 2 months. And that goes from 0 to 10, for everything from handling calls as a sergeant to making decisions, to critical decisions, and it just goes all the way. The manual is about 100-page manual, and we had a 0-page manual before. We had a checklist. So I'm reacting to a problem that we encountered, and this is an important problem, and it's important that we get it right moving forward for our department and for the city to get it right. 90 days probationary period is not long enough because they can be babysat, so to speak, the whole time around probation and not making decisions, not proving themselves on the road by themselves. So they could make probation and not even have a day by themselves making decisions that are critical for all of us. And as a chief, I can't have that. I cannot have someone that escaped probation with an FTO that all of a sudden is released to make decisions what's best for you and me. I mean, a sergeant really, if I'm not here, the mayor's not here, and the master's isn't here, that sergeant is the chief of police. He's the mayor and state service director while he's working. That's what that's what he has to do. So it's important we get this right after we found a problem with the process. So by extending that period to 180 days, he'll do about 3 months on his own as a sergeant making critical decisions, and we have time to correct his decisions if they're not right or if they're wrong. They're going to make mistakes. The new sergeant is a big change from patrolman to sergeant, the biggest change on the department. So we know they're going to make mistakes, and we expect them to make mistakes. But if I don't have the time to teach them to correct those mistakes, then we're stuck with a sergeant who we can't fix. So I'm asking to change this to help the problem. Now, looking back, when I was a patrolman, I would be against this as a patrolman. I would be against this, and I would probably whine and cry, and I would fight not to let this happen as a patrolman. Because the problem is, it's going to make me learn the job better, but extend my probationary period where I'm at risk longer. So guys view probationary periods as risk. So the risk is here right now. The risk of them now is here. So I get they're not going to like this, but we cannot have the tail wag the dog. We must do what's right for the department and for the city. So this is why I'm asking for this.
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Any questions of the Chief, Commissioner?
No.
No, once again, I appreciate the thorough commentary.
Very good. Anybody else want to speak to this issue? Okay. I'll entertain a motion on this change.
I'll make a motion to allow to change our local civil service rules, section 7.5 regarding promotional probationary periods for the Lorain Police Department from 90 to 180 days.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made by Mr. Takis, seconded by Mrs. Senkes to change Lorain Civil Service Rules, section 7.5C, extending the promotional period from 90 days to 180 days. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Again, thank you, Chief, for that explanation. Next item.
We have a request for the ability to hire a utility worker in the distribution division of the Lorain Utilities Department from a current laborer one eligibility list due to the fact that there were not being a current eligibility list for the position motor equipment operator / utility worker, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Anybody from the administration? Mr. Carbonaro?
I thought she was going to talk too.
Wow.
Whatever you need, I got your back.
So, what we're proposing to do with this individual is something similar that we did with a prior individual, and that's actually who he is replacing. We did it with Mr. Ray Marrero prior. Mr. Marrero possessed a Class B CDL, which that makes him eligible for the utility worker position. And Cody here has the same type of background. He's mechanically inclined, and he's shown the aptitude not only in his work history, but also in the interview process that we went through with him, that he can perform this job, as well as he has a Class B CDL.
Is that the only licensure needed for this position?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Commissioners, any questions?
No.
No, I think I'm good.
Entertain a motion on this candidate. Commissioners?
I'll make a motion to hire Cody, what's Cody's
I
last?
didn't know his name was Paige.
Cody Hembry.
Pardon me, you guys, we don't need to
Oh, no, name.
approve him because he is coming from a list, so it will be a certified appointment. They're just asking for the ability to hire from
From
list.
that
a
list.
different list
Okay.
than what the position is.
Gotcha, thank you, Rose.
All right, well, I'll make a motion to approve the ability to hire utility work from the distribution division of the Lorain Utilities Department from a current labor eligibility list due to there not being a current eligibility list for the position of the motor equipment operator / utility worker.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay, let's see if I get this right. A motion's been made by Mrs. Senkes, seconded by Mr. Takis, to approve the appointment of Mr. Cody Hembry based on his status on the laborers one list to the position of utility worker within the city of Lorain's utility department.
We haven't approved the appointment,
Right, not the appointment.
Mr. President, but we've approved their ability to hire from that
from the list.
Okay, let me change that. Motion made by Mrs. Senke, seconded by Mr. Takis to hire from the Labor One list to the position of utility worker in the Lorain Utilities Department.
Right on.
Is that it? Okay. All in favor of that motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, moving right along.
Next.
Yes, we have a request for an exceptional appointment. We'll deal with that first. To the position of contract and prevailing wage administrator in the City of Lorain Engineering Department. So again, the first order of business is we have a request for an exceptional appointment, and it would be the commission's desire to understand why we would want to approve an exceptional appointment for this position.
At this time, the administration would like to request per Ohio Administrative Code 123, 1 through 17, 01C, that competitive testing be waived in the case of this individual. We did post this position internally, and this particular candidate did sign the posting. We actually created a more of a structured interview process for this particular candidate, where we had a panel actually participate in the interview. So we did have myself, we had the city engineer, Dale Vandersamen, and we also had Paul Wilson from the Utilities Department as the director. We felt like these people were good people to have as part of the interview because these are the people that he would interact with and do the contracts and the nature of the job. So we had all of them participate in the process, and it was deemed that he possessed the skills and education required for the position.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions on that?
So currently, there's no testing protocol for that position, true?
No, there's not.
And there hasn't been.
This is actually, it's a new position, although it's more of a revamped position. We did have the position previously held by Phil Tursky. We kind of took the job description apart and kind of reworked it to make more sense for what we actually needed. And then we interviewed this particular candidate for that position.
So the position is not new?
It's got a new title. You guys had approved the job description maybe a few meetings ago,
I believe back in the January or the first of the 2 February meetings, the job description was
It used to be contract and grant administrator?
Yeah, contract and grant administrator.
And we revamped it to be the contract and prevailing wage administrator.
And absent an actual examination, we did a ranked and structured interview process that was set forth per Law Director Riley's guidance, that if an actual test not be administered, a version of the test would be a ranked and structured interview process, which is what we followed in conducting this particular interview.
Perfect.
Sounds good. In that case, I'd make a motion that we waive the testing provisions for this position based on the Ohio Administrative Code, Section 123, 117-1, Section C.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Takis to waive the testing provisions for this exceptional appointment based on Ohio Administrative Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes.
At this time, we are now free to talk about the candidate for the position of contract and prevailing wage administrator in the City of Lorain Engineering Department.
So the Safety Service Director is actually asking that we appoint Matt Kuzner. He was the gentleman that we did go through the structured interview. His background is that he has previously worked in the court here in the City of Lorain, and he's currently working in the BHP department. Matt does possess a bachelor's degree in political science and legal studies. In his role in BHP, he has experience in contract development and management, program management, and grant compliance. He's also executed contracts. He's created checklists and templates to help make contract production easier. He's also a member of the Lorain Port Authority, where he also has experience in planning, finance, and contract development. And I can speak to it personally. Matt has exceptional computer skills. He's the guy you call when you can't do something on your computer. He got very good computer skills. So at this time, we are asking that you could approve his appointment to the contract and prevailing wage administrator.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Nope, sounds like a wonderful candidate.
Yes.
Entertain a motion?
Can I just?
Yep, go ahead, Rose.
Just, Lisa, as far as this, why are we not doing an ORC if it's a managerial position? Would it be more of an exceptional appointment rather than the ORC?
I think either way, I mean, it would probably fit under either or. His degree, I mean, I think it would fit under either one.
I'll make a motion for an exceptional appointment is Matt Kusner to the position of Contract Prevailing Wage Administrator in the City of Lorain Engineering Department.
I'll second that motion.
A motion's been made for the exceptional appointment of Mr. Matt Kuzner to the position of Contract and Prevailing Wage Administrator in the City of Lorain's Department of Engineering. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion passes.
I don't believe we have anything under reports or old business.
Any bills owed by civil service?
Not at this time.
Okay, money. Certification of payrolls. I'll make a motion that the payrolls for the City of Lorain and the Lorain City School System be certified, provided they're in accord with civil service rules and procedures.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Mr. Smith, seconded by Mr. Takas to certify the payrolls for the City of Lorain and Lorain City School System. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That motion passes. Our next meeting date.
Yes.
I think we've come to the conclusion, perhaps, unless you need us earlier, May 12th. Tuesday, May 12th
I'll
at
make-
5 p.m.
Make
In
the
Lorain
motion.
City Service, or excuse me, Lorain City Council Chambers. We'll take over.
I'll second that motion.
All, motion been made to make our next meeting May 12th, 2020 at 5 p.m. here in City Council Chambers. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
I'm in favor, sorry.
And I make a motion that we adjourn at 5:22 p.m.
Second that motion.
Can I get something real
I'm
quick?
sorry.
Yes.
I just want to brief you guys on a couple of things that are upcoming in the next few months that we're working on with the state lawmakers. I briefed the mayor and Max about this several months ago, and it's an ongoing project. I don't want you guys to be surprised about this when it comes to in front of you. So we're trying to work on it with the state, Representative Joe Miller, to create a local cadet program for the police department. Right now, it's not allowed by law, but we're making the changes through the ORC to allow this. The goal is to get kids out of high school, kids out of JVS, or young adults who are going to college for a degree. And the intent is to bring them on for a 2 or 3 year kind of a part-time job where we train them and get them up to speed internally with our internal workings and how we do cases and stuff like that for 2 or 3 years. Once they get their degree and become 21, we're going to send them to the police academy. And the way the law is going to be written as we see it now is going to allow us to appoint these cadets once they're qualified as peace officers through the academy. What this is going to entail on your end is, as it seems now, we have to develop a cadet program, which you all will have approving authority of the actual program. Now, this may change a little bit in amongst our talks with the lawmakers, but as it stands right now, there's got to be a body to approve a curriculum for the cadet program, and they're thinking right now it's going to be the Civil Service Board is going to be the curriculum approving authority. So this is ongoing, and we hope to have traction in the next few months to get this rolling through you guys. So there will be a curriculum, and there'll be a process to where there's an entrance level test, one test for them to get into the program, and that is considered their test for civil service. And once they complete the academy and pass it, they can be appointed directly into the position of police officer at City of Lorain or any other place in Ohio that wants to do this. No one has this yet. We're going to be the first to start this except for State Patrol. They have a different kind of a cadet program, but we're trying to get more local cadets, more local kids that want to join the police department and get them here locally so they know Lorain, they know the people and the demographics. It's going to be a benefit to Lorain. but we're not there yet. I just want to let you guys know this is in process. I don't want you to get surprised when I come back 3 or 4 months from now and said, here's what we're doing. So I want to give you a little heads up. And one more thing we're working on with the law department is we're trying to change the probationary period for new hires. The problem we have, like the sergeant position with the probationary period, the problem we have is if we hire somebody off a list, probationary period is 1 year from a date we hired him. The academy is 5 months. The training program is 5 months. If they make it through the training program with no problems, which is very unnormal, everyone has a problem one way or the other. Training program, they're always extended for a week or two. That leaves us with 1 month to judge their abilities on probation. That's just not enough to make sure we have a good quality candidate. It's not enough for us to find mistakes that we can fix and do more training. It's not enough time. So we're researching with Don Zaleski upstairs, at what point in time can we put this probationary period on them? Can it be when they're done with the academy, when the test is complete, when they're sworn in? We're looking at all those answers. Or we're looking at also just making it 18 months. But with 18 months, it kind of isn't fair for people we bring over who are already certified, who skipped the academy and go right in the training program. So we're looking at a multiple level of what is the best answer. And maybe there's 2 best answers. Maybe one answer is if they're already certified cops, the day they get hired, it starts probation. Or if they're not certified cops, the day they graduate and pass the test, it starts probation. We don't have the answers yet, but again, I want to prep you that this is coming, and we need to take action on this because we cannot have a brand new cop with 1 month probation when he gets on his own. He can't prove within 12 shifts that he's ready to be a cop in Lorain and to entrust him with the right thing all the time. It's not enough time. So that's coming. I just want to give you guys a brief update, just a heads up that this is going to be coming eventually.
Thank you, Chief.
Absolutely, I
Thank you
appreciate it.
for your proactiveness on some of these matters.
This cadet program sounds wonderful.
It really does. Get some more local kids into serving their community. Anyhow, make a motion again at 5:27 p.m. We adjourn.
Second that motion.
Motion made by Smith, seconded by Takacs to adjourn the meeting, 5:27 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.